Yeah, so I started really in the physical space of physical therapy, which is just typical clients in pain. And I started moving outside of that and doing movement analysis,
Mm-hmm.
and that really took off well. And then I had this spiritual awakening
Ooh.
that set off so many different parts of me and also simultaneously like split me a little bit where I didn't want to just be physical anymore. I really wanted to show people holistically
Mm.
how their pain and their injury relates to their limited beliefs. And then basically then you're going into soul understandings and life paths and things because that trauma and the self-limiting beliefs, all of that gets in the way of who you truly are. And just like pain does, right? If you're hurting, all you're thinking about is pain.
True.
So it's not conducive to a beautiful led life.
Yeah.
I felt that in my own life and
Mm-hmm.
then thought to myself, I could share this with other people. And I deeply understand the body from an anatomy, a movement standpoint. I can look at someone and deeply understand them within a few minutes.
So feel me when I bring it, sing it loud. I'm from the loot and I'm proud. Run a mile for the cause. I'm right.
Hi, guys. It's your girl, Nakama, your favorite Jew from the Lou. Welcome back to my podcast. And today I am very excited to have Dr. Carolyn Meister. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You're so welcome. I'm really excited about today because I feel like recently I've been attracting a lot of chiropractors and physical therapists into my life.
Yeah,
And I'm fascinated with all things about the human body, but I'm also very fascinated about woo-woo, holistic, spiritual things. And
absolutely.
so you have a
Clinical doctorate.
clinical doctorate in physical therapy.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about what drew you to this practice and then also how you found your niche.
Yeah, so I started really in the physical space of physical therapy, which is just typical clients in pain. And I started moving outside of that and doing movement analysis,
Mm-hmm.
and that really took off well. And then I had this spiritual awakening that
Ooh.
set off so many different parts of me and also simultaneously like split me a little bit where I didn't want to just be physical anymore. I really wanted to show people holistically
Mm.
how their pain and their injury relates to their limited beliefs. And then basically then you're going into soul understandings and life paths and things because that trauma and the self-limiting beliefs, all of that gets in the way of who you truly are. And just like pain does, right? If you're hurting, all you're thinking about is pain.
True.
So it's not conducive to a beautiful led life.
Yeah.
I felt that in my own life and
Mm-hmm.
then thought to myself, I could share this with other people. And I deeply understand the body from an anatomy, a movement standpoint. I can look at someone and deeply understand them within a few minutes.
Oof.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, no secrets here.
No.
Yeah.
But I wanna hold that skill for the availability to be able to help people and be able
Yeah.
to give them their life back and to help them understand and be conscious of the things that their pain points, their injuries, to
Hmm.
be able to say, "Let's get through this together." And it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna do it together.
Yeah. And like, oh, I feel like you're a healer on so many levels because of that. And so you're definitely doing your soul's purpose for sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's so cool.
It
I would love to dive into Kabbalah a little bit.
yeah. You start, girl.
I just told you about it like right before we started rolling. And I'm obsessed. My audience knows with Kabbalah. It's been that was kind of my spiritual awakening, if
Yeah.
you will. I grew up religious. But then somewhere in my early 20s, I'm 29, almost 30, but in my early 20s, I kind of got burnt out from religion in terms of that everything about it that was beautiful, I still integrated and kept, but then I realized I was doing it for other people.
Yeah.
And I felt like such a victim.
Mhm.
And I really blamed circumstances, people in my life for me not having the dream and abundant life that I so desired, right? So eventually I got into law of attraction. And then law of attraction led me to this guy named David Guillaume who teaches this master class on Kabbalah. I was like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, is it pay what you can? So I paid $1.
Ooh.
And I got access to this amazing course that has changed my life, truly. Because I used to be a very uptight, intense person who probably had a lot of dark energy, if I'm gonna be honest. And people would just say, like, you could see, like, my body was just like so closed off and tense. You probably would have picked that up right away. I mean, you didn't need to have a doctor to pick that up. But he basically, just to sum up what Kabbalah is, goes into this concept of God, source, creator, whatever speaks to you, wants to give you everything your soul dreams and desires. And you wouldn't have a dream if it wasn't meant for you because the fulfillment comes before the desire. So
Yeah.
the dream is just your soul being like, it's time. And that's super exciting, you know? But then you may not get it in that moment because A, you might not be the vessel that can receive it. So you need to go through challenges to grow and expand your vessel so you can receive all the blessings. So that's why sometimes if you pray or manifest and it seems like everything's getting worse, don't fret. It's all part of the process. Just gotta toughen it out. And then the second part is you could feel breath of shame if you like you could feel shame if you don't feel like you've earned something.
Right.
So sometimes we have to go through that process, right? Like you have a huge following on Instagram. I have a big following for me on Instagram.
I like it.
Proud of it.
I'm proud of you too.
If 600 people were in a room,
Wow.
that'd be
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
so dope. So I'm very proud of it. But it's like I don't think I'm ready to receive your amount that you have on Instagram because you said you have what? Like,
Like 70
yeah,
something.
I'm not
Yeah.
ready for that kind of attention. I mean, I am, but you know. So it's like everything
I
happens when it's
wasn't
supposed
either.
to. But everything happens when it's supposed to. Some people are supposed to just
Yeah.
blow up, right?
Yeah. Looking where I am, I earned that
Yeah.
before in my first iteration of my business. And yeah, I wasn't ready for it. And I crashed everything to the ground. And and for a while, I was like devastated and crawled back in my hole. And, every limiting belief was shouting at me that I was not enough.
Mm,
And I just picked myself up one day and just put one foot in front of the other. And I thought to myself, I know how freaking smart I am. And I know like how good this does. I'm past this. Like maybe that was just the beginning. Maybe that was a trial. Maybe I'm
yes,
meant for even bigger than that.
for sure.
And like, just like you're saying with the Kabbalah, like some of it is getting out of your own way.
For sure.
And what I do is I look at people and I look at there's actual stuff stuck in the body. It is
Yeah.
tension. Our body is made of fascia, muscles, bones, all of those things that we've heard before. But fascia is this connective tissue that's like a spider web all over our body. And when we are caught in limited belief patterns, our body moves in those patterns and
Mm,
it gets stuck a lot of the time in organs and around the abdomen, hips as well. We can talk about different energy levels, right? You've heard you do Kabbalah. I can look at it from a Chinese standpoint, like traditional Chinese medicine,
cool.
or chakras.
Yeah.
And like, manifestation starts in the third eye,
Hmm.
and that's a lot of head energy, right? Like you're overthinking or you're just thinking, and it goes down into your body and it just ping pongs off of all the limited beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be loved. I'm not good enough
Hmm.
to be seen.
Hmm.
And down to the hips where that's like root energy and sacral energy. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so that manifestation can't ground, it can't land, it can't be fully discovered unless you're constantly getting out of your own way. So that is what I look for when energetically, but then also physically, and I'm combining the two of them to really help people understand you really are wonderful. You're really like Kabbalah, right?
Yeah.
You are everything that you are meant to be. You're just in your own way, and it's from these
100%.
it's from these old beliefs, outdated beliefs that maybe you got from somebody, because we all get trauma from our parents and the
Yeah.
caregivers and people around us. And it doesn't, and they got it from their parents and they got it from their parents and
And
so
sometimes
on.
you don't even
Yeah.
realize because
No.
it's just so normal. That's your story, right?
Yeah.
So, from an objective perspective, sometimes we see our friends, our loved ones keep putting themselves in these really unhealthy situations. You're like, hello, what's happening?
Yeah.
But it's just that feels our body isn't primed. I heard this recently. Our body isn't primed in our best interest. Our body is primed to do what feels comfortable and safe. And what's comfortable and safe isn't necessarily ideal. It's just what are we used to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're running on old patterns, and the hardest part is to go beyond those patterns, to rewrite your story a little bit, to release those old patterns, because then there's this time where you're like, who am I?
Yeah.
Who the heck am I then? And I get to guide specifically. I love working with women, and I get to guide women.
Hmm.
Um, to really understanding their body so that they can unlock all of that, release it, let it go, and move on to so many bigger and better things in their lives.
Yeah. And it's so cool to me that you're like your niche is specifically with women too, because in Judaism, women are considered holier than men. We are. We're considered top tier. And like for example, the analogy that I was given like in high school is let's say you have a ladder. Women are at the top of the ladder, men are at the bottom. And that really just spiritually and energetically shows like where we are in life too. Like women, our whole role is to like maintain, right? We're already top at the top. There's no reason to compare ourselves with them. Their role and their you know what I mean? But I think there's been kind of a disconnect recently where there's like we're comparing ourselves to men and what that success looks like in today's society. And
Yeah.
then men's role is to attain. They're inherently lazy. They try to pull us down. Don't fall for it, ladies. Like,
I love it.
you know?
But
So it's like as women, I think I think we're such caretakers and we're such givers. And like a lot of times that puts us in positions where we're giving too much
yeah,
in where there's no boundaries and whether it's with friends, whether it's with business, and it's just problematic. And so we need to figure out how to own our energy and
yeah,
own how awesome we are so
yeah,
that we can walk into a room and we can be those caretakers and givers and healers, but at the same time, know who and when and where to do it. Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The biggest part of the journey for me recently has been being that level of energy when I get into a room and being able to hold space for other people, even if we're not on the same energy level or anything like that. But a lot of it is, if I'm coming into a room, I want to feel safe and I
Hmm.
want others to feel safe. And I want them to feel secure in themselves. And I want them to know that I'm just happy being me, regardless of what they think or say. And a big part of my life journey was getting rid of all the judgment and the criticism that I have like had since I swear birth, right? Like there has just been so much judgment and criticism in my life that I internalized so much.
Mm.
And that's what made me a perfectionist. I had an eating disorder. And I really just struggled with me and getting to like finally not hear so many voices in my head that are just shouting about how unworthy I am, and to be able to walk in a room and say, I'm this is who I am.
Yeah.
And here are my boundaries, and this is where, and if anybody wants to try to cross those boundaries, that's going to be a no for me. And
Right.
I didn't know how to do that before.
It's a practice,
It
especially if you don't
is.
have it in you already, you know? Um, but to continue on with the Kabbalah thing
Yeah.
too, is that like they say like Satan or in Hebrew Satan, his role is kind of like your coach. People look at him like he's like an evil angel or whatever.
Mhm.
Nope. His role is to make you aware, be a mirror of all your limiting beliefs. And so the analogy that I like to use is imagine that you are trying to get somewhere. You're driving and you are literally hitting every red light and you're already running late. You can physically
Oh, yeah.
feel yourself being anxious, maybe angry, like all the negative emotions, right? Blaming other people, blaming yourself. just not a good energetic headspace, right? In that moment, this is where Kabbalah changed my life. Pause, which taps into the breath, which I want to
Yeah.
get into in a moment, which is pause. And boy, oh boy, do I breathe in that moment. I mean, even if you just do the pause alone, that is so powerful. And then you say, what a pleasure, or what a gift that I'm going through this challenging situation. And this is what faith is to me, this definition. I have certainty beyond logic that everything is working out for my benefit. You know,
Yeah.
it's
That,
a
I mean,
huge,
that
huge
can be
thing.
powerful too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hard to do some days when you're
it's a
like, yeah,
practice.
it's a practice where you're like, at my worst, I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm so grateful I'm here, right? And
Yeah,
it's hard to access that part that is, yeah, you almost go on autopilot, right? You go on
yeah,
autopilot of, I'm going to be angry or something. And so, no, I think it's a beautiful practice to try to come back to, because that is presence too, trying to just be present and be like, okay, I'm here. What didn't go right? Okay, a bunch of red lights, can't control that. What could I have controlled? Maybe
totally.
leaving the house a little bit earlier or something. I'm going to try that for next time. I don't prefer this situation. I'm looking around right
Yep.
now. I don't prefer this.
Hmm.
I prefer maybe if I got out of the house a little bit earlier. I'm going to try that next time. And then yeah, so like the devil or the Satan or
Yeah.
whatever, that is the reflection of what you don't prefer. And being able to consciously, that's the other thing, is the awareness to say, I don't prefer this. This is a loop that keeps happening in my life because I'm constantly late or whatever. I'm running into these issues, to
Hmm.
say, I don't prefer this. What can I do to make it so I prefer this lifestyle? I prefer this part of my life. And that's exciting. That's awareness, that's consciousness, and that's the ability to say, I get to live my life to the fullest. And there will always be moments that you don't prefer. And that's a great reminder.
Totally. I want to tap into one of the things that blew you up on Instagram, and I also am so fascinated by it, is like you mentioned that someone's gait or the way someone carries themselves, like you can tell from almost a spiritual and a physical thing about like the trauma and where they're holding it. Is that something intuitive that you've always had? Is that something that through your practice you've kind of become attuned to? Or let's dive into that.
Ooh, that's a fun one. I
Yeah.
think I got the physical sense from WashU. They are very big into movement system impairments. So they were very keen on us looking at people, specifically at different joints and understanding the arthrokinematics, big word to mean how the joints move.
Yeah.
And really isolating and understanding that movement and then functionally doing it. So
Hmm.
putting it all together in one. So from a physical standpoint, I understood it through that lens. But then I started noticing, and I am that person in my own right, that I love to draw patterns, but I also just love to like think outside the box and just consider all the details. People's personalities would start coming out, and like these hyper tense men, right? And it's typically men that are hyper tense. Um, you could tell they were on the tip of their tongue, they were angry, or it was so close, and you could just feel the energy of just like
Hmm.
rage like coming off of them. And even sometimes in the way that they would speak, if we're talking, or we could go with the opposite, which is a very willy-nilly like woman, right? Someone that just kind of doesn't have any boundaries, and there's someone that's going to be super hyper mobile. They're like the EDS, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. There are people that like, you're like, what time? I don't know, whatever the wind takes me there, and they don't have a lot of structure in their life, and they don't have structure in their body very well. And so when you
Interesting.
look at the imprint of the body versus like the personality and the energy that they give off, it is so compatible. And that's where I was like, I love gait analysis and movement analysis, but I one part of me was like, I'm telling people's stuff on the internet a little bit, like I'm showing their dysfunction on the internet. And to me, I was like telling their whole life story because I could see it.
Oh, that's so wild.
But yeah, and also I didn't want to be the analytical girl anymore. I wanted to soften and I wanted to show different parts of me and be more holistic and really get into um helping specifically women
Yeah.
on how we can fortify relationships with each other through feeling safe with each other. And I think
Yes.
that is so important because we're all like, I just feel like everyone's out to judge each other nowadays. And everyone's like, oh my God, that girl or that guy. And we're all doing that to each other. And I do that sometimes. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
I
But
think it's
am
our
I
nature.
cultivating better relationship with that? Absolutely.
Totally.
Like, I wanna be more open
You
with
want to be a
people.
girl's girl.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, when women come together, we are so much more powerful. Um, I saw something, and I don't know if this is medically true. I saw it on TikTok. It was saying how like women are a lot of times if we're around each other long enough, our periods cycle
Oh, yeah.
together. And it was saying that the reason why that was is that that would almost trigger it so that you get like pregnant around the same time because it takes a village to
Yeah.
raise a child. So
Yeah.
then like if we're all getting pregnant together and then we're all in this together. And I was like, noted.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's so much that women can do together when we
Yeah.
stop, like, competing with each other, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, from playing sports till I was little, right, I've always competed, and with women, because that's who I played against, right? Like, men
Right.
play against men, women play against women.
Yeah.
To be able to, like, lay down that part of me and say, "I'm really cultivating a space." That's not what I prefer anymore. I prefer not to compete with women, um, has really changed my life, like, truly changed my life and softened me in ways that I never thought possible.
Wow. So it's so interesting because I feel like I'm not gonna lie. Uh when I when I see a woman from afar and I don't know her, my first thought turns into like comparison and
Yeah,
like no hate, no shade, it's just what happens. And then I get to know them, and if they're like a cool person, we've got a good vibe. I'm like, oh, what's up, sister? Like, it's gonna be great. Like, girl's girl from there on
yeah,
out, as long as they're a good person.
yeah,
Sometimes I called it,
yeah.
but for the most part, like, I would say more often than not, I've been wrong. Where like you see someone, especially if they're like in your mind, whatever you think is like pretty enough, skinny enough, whatever, and you're comparing yourself like, well, they can't be nice too.
Right,
Like it would
right.
be impossible. And then they're the nicest, sweetest humans ever. And you're like, ah, cool. So that's
To
always
me, that,
fun.
like, shouts, that's something you prefer. Anytime that I'm jealous of someone, because that's where the stem of it is like,
Yeah.
I want to immediately be jealous of this person, even though we're gonna say it's not jealousy and we're gonna say it's something else. But like, I will get jealous of someone in that way, and then I will go, huh, let me think about this for a second.
Mm.
I know I'm capable of being that.
Kabbalah goes into that, by the way. It says that
That's
jealousy.
why we're talking about
Literally. It says that I thought you just reminded me. I hadn't thought about
it.
this in a minute. It said jealousy isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just depends what you do with that energy. It's all about how do you handle the energy you're feeling. So like if in that moment you can be reflective and say, why am I feeling jealous? I'm feeling jealous because maybe they have the body that I aspire to having. Maybe they have the energy with other people that I aspire to have. And then if we can be like, okay, if I feel this desire, well, I know the fulfillment comes before the desire. So clearly I'm meant to have that. It
Absolutely.
might be a process to get there, but that's just knowledge and has nothing to do with that human. It's just sparking that
Yeah,
desire in me.
yeah,
So fun.
yeah, and, like, right, the desire to fulfillment feels like work, and
Right.
sometimes it's the work is really just getting out of your own head, right? The work is like, I'm going to not continue to do that. That's work. That's work to constantly, like, now, okay, every time you see a woman,
Mhm.
well, she could be really nice,
Yeah,
or,
the unlearning.
yes,
The unlearning is hard.
and that's where, like, the work comes in, but I think it's still I that's where the desire is because you're meant to have it,
Hmm.
and you're meant to be that girl, and I would get so jealous of women like me, 5 years ago.
Totally.
So many and now I I'm even in a way cultivating that for myself of I want to look better. I want to feel better about myself and I'm going to cultivate that for myself. And I know that's going to come with some people giving me shade or some people being like that wasn't you a couple years ago.
Yep.
Well, watch
Evolution.
me. Watch
Yeah.
me keep going because I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop. I know the recipe now and I'm just going to write it out and I'm just going to keep moving the way that I'm moving. Um, and and I almost have to put blinders, not really. Like
No, yes, you do.
I mean blinders
Yeah,
to the negative comments, but also being acceptable because we all grow in a community together.
totally.
But being able to actually say, like, "It's okay that you feel that way. I was there once. That was really hard for me, and that's okay. I'm gonna keep doing my thing."
Yeah. I think in the end of the day, change is hard for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about even from the outsider looking at you change, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's been some changes that I've been making recently in my life from a religious perspective, where, like, for example, I am trying to dress a little more modestly. And it's funny because I don't know why I felt this need to announce it and tell all my friends and like make a whole reel about it, but I did because that's me.
That you were dressing more modestly?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I like it.
And like, here's why, and here's been my journey, and here's my thought process because like I don't just do things. And I feel like I'm choosing it this time versus like being raised in a religious place. It's more like I'm choosing it, and here's why, and this is why it's authentic to me. And I think when you go through that authentic energy space, it tends to be more well received than you would have thought. It's almost like in our head, we exhaust ourselves for no reason, mentally preparing ourselves for all the haters. And we're like,
Yeah.
here they come. All
Yeah.
right, I
Yeah.
got my responses ready. And then they're like so supportive and so nice. And like as women, I think we're all just like, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
I can lay
I'm
down my armor.
loved. I'm loved. I'm supported. It's so nice.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
so crazy. But I think it's just that noise that you talk about. I think so many of us go through that where it's like some of it wasn't even real. And I've also, one of the things I love about getting older is that I've realized that the comments, the feedback that people give you from that same person can be different from day to day, depending on what's going on in their life,
Oh,
their
absolutely.
perspective, their energy levels, and also how you presented it, right?
Yeah,
So, in the end of the day, I this is my favorite thing, which is your life is your life. You're the only one who has to deal with the consequences, truly. Like, you're the only one who has to wake up every morning and live the life that you've created for better or worse.
absolutely.
Everyone else will deal.
Right. I mean, I love it because people get all sassy about this, but like main character energy, like you are
Love
main
that.
character. Like,
Yes.
yeah, you're a side piece in everyone else's story, right?
Yeah.
You're a secondary character.
hmm
But you are the main character of your story. And for so long, I like had put almost I say it every time it's like a black marker or like a Sharpie just like scratched me out of everything that I had ever accomplished because I
Mm,
never felt good enough. And it's like funny now sitting here because I just think to myself, holy moly, like I only have this life to live. And
truly.
I've helped so many people. I've helped so many women. Like, I know that there's value in what I can give to others, but also what I'm giving to myself. And I'm just so grateful that I see the light finally, that I'm moving in that direction because I felt so chained for so long
Yeah.
to be able to and hardship was what broke me from all of that. Like some of the hardest parts of my life were the reason that I was able to believe in this way.
hmm
It took some of me licking my wounds, but but like honestly, I was like, okay, I do deserve all of those things and
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like one of those things where it's like I would never wish what I've been through on anyone else,
Yeah.
but yet it's exactly what you needed
Yeah.
for your vessel, if you will, to be
Absolutely.
broken apart, to be who you are now, to expand so that you can really rise to who you always were. It's not like this woman wasn't there.
Right.
And it's so cool seeing you talk because I'm not a professional by any means, a reading energy or anything like that. But I could just tell like there's this strength that's undeniable and unshakable in you of who you are and what your mission is. Like your soul is on fire. Like I could see it. There's so much clarity and certainty, and that's awesome, you know? It's something that like everyone can recognize when they see that certainty and passion and fire in someone else. But so many people aren't blessed to know what that is, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean, it took some getting through some fire to get there for sure.
Yeah. It's like a phoenix, right?
Yeah, oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But even thinking about, some of the videos that blow up on my Instagram have been me doing an outfit of the day and wearing clothes that I would not have worn a year ago.
Okay.
And I say this because it's like women empowerment, right? But it's also I never thought I'd be one of those girls that everything was like aesthetically pleasing, right? But I'm cultivating that for myself because that's what I want and that's what I
Yeah.
desire.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store in my sweats, because that's what I do. Like being a ex-athlete, I'm like, yeah, that's that's what I always wore was sweats everywhere.
Yeah.
And showing up with like nicer clothes and putting myself together better has been so much different for my mental health. Just my mental health.
Just for you
Yeah,
alone.
just for
Yeah.
me alone, it feels in some moments I'm like, I feel like a fraud. I feel like a fraud, you
Yeah,
know?
I do know.
Um, but I keep doing it.
Hmm.
And that fraud, I used to feel like this and now it's this. And the rest of it is like, you're in the right direction. You're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Keep going because things that I have to share, especially for women, and the energy I can hold in a room to say we're all safe here, right? You're in good hands. We're all okay here. To be able to help people. I learned this from my husband, weirdly enough. He is such a safe, wonderful, amazing person. And I tried to reject that at one point, and I'm so glad that everything worked out the way that it did because I get to like when my nervous system gets out of whack, right? I panic, have anxiety, all of these things, right? I can look to him and he has just this very steady nervous system.
Hmm.
And I just keep growing when I have that beautiful stability in my life.
Yes.
I want to cultivate that for women. I want to
Yeah.
show up and say, you are safe with your left side. So right side's male energy, right?
Yeah.
Left side is like female energy. And there are parts of you that you'll have to go through with men. And there is parts of you that you have to go through with women. And for me, I want to cultivate that with other women. And one of them was actually working with my business partner, Ashley, of like taking her on and saying, like, let's work together, let's build an empire, let's help women, let's take care of all of these women by taking care of each other.
Yes.
And it's like a relationship. Like there are hard parts of our business, there are easy parts, and there's so much joy, and there's also like devastation
Yeah.
and we are holding each other through it and we keep
Hmm.
going, we are in it together. There's the path, keep going. And I'm so excited for everything to come and that's already coming in for us right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think when you have that certainty and that clear vision for yourself, but also at where you want to go professionally, that's when things start to align for you and there's this serendipity and things get, the other day I had such a cool thing where there was something for my coffee business, like Café. It was an opportunity, a collaboration that I wanted to do. And I was like, oh, I really should reach out to this person. But like, there were so many moving parts going on in my life and with my coffee shop that I was like, you know what? I will get to that. That's not an emergency. I don't need to run after every single opportunity. If it's meant to be, it will be.
For real.
They messaged me.
Yes.
They messaged me and I was like, God, I love being a woman. I
Yes.
love being a woman. I do. And I love working with men because they don't get it. And I'm like, listen, my women out there who work with men, I'm so sorry. Um, it's great. Men are great. We love men. But we function very differently, emotionally, logically, everything, right? So there is a lot to navigate with that because as women, I think also it's so new that we're in the workplace. There's this book called How to Tame Your Alpha Bitch.
Okay.
You got to read it. It's so great. It talks about how as women, it really has only been like what, like 50, 60 years since we've been in the workplace.
Mhm.
And so who we look at as examples of leaders are men. But when we as women try to emulate men, we lose the best part of being a woman, which adds so much value to every workplace. And we cultivate this alpha bitch who looks and walks like a man, if you will, but isn't a man. So therefore it comes across bitchy and cold and more sterile than if it were a man, right? And so as a woman, we have to learn that our femininity is something to be celebrated, not just at home, not just when we're in our feminine, not just in relationships and friendships, but in the workplace. And so I've like had to tell the men in my life where it's like, thank you so much. I operate differently. I'm just gonna do my thing and I'll let you watch.
There
Okay?
you go.
Okay.
There you go. I
And it
feel,
works.
yeah. I think all women are kind of stuck in their masculinity a little bit.
Mhm.
And man, getting to explore not being in it has been so much. It's where creativity lives, right?
Yeah.
Creativity and this softening. And I'm definitely in my like soft girl era.
We talk about this from a perspective of clothing, actually,
Sure.
because I think what we wear affects our energy so much more than we realize. But especially
Yeah.
as a woman, like this was a really cool moment that I had in my early 20s, one of my first jobs that I had, I got to sit in with the all the women leaders. They had like a separate panel just for them in this huge, we worked in pipeline and infrastructure, very masculine
Yeah.
kind of workplace, but there was a lot of women who worked there. And one of the main leaders there, she was wearing like a very flowy, feminine skirt, one that you would not expect to see in a corporate environment. And she's like, years ago, I just got rid of all my slacks and I just started dressing very feminine because I realized that as women, we have so much to add. And energetically, I just bring that energy more when I dress that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That we talked about that earlier with the outfits of the day.
Hmm.
And I started, it's one thing to wear it one off, right? If you wear it one off, you feel like a kid in your mom's clothing, right? You're like,
Hmm.
this doesn't fit me, my personality, who I am, right?
Right.
But if you actually start dressing for just who you want to be, your creative expression, how like start so I didn't change anything in my wardrobe when I started changing the way that I dressed and the way I felt.
Okay.
I literally just looked at my wardrobe and was like, I want to piece these together differently.
Mm.
And I started just doing that and believing in myself. Part of it was like believing that I could look sexy or look a certain way and not attract the wrong energy, right? Cuz
Yes.
you're talking about modesty and like if you look at this outfit, it's modest, right?
Right.
But it's not like, I'm not all pinned up or anything.
Yeah,
Like
it's not
I'm at
dowdy.
ease.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something I'm exploring as well. The post that I did, I was like, part of my journey is like for 30 days, I'm just trying to dress more modestly and just to see how it feels.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm convinced that modest can be hottest. There was an older gentleman who I was talking to who's like trying to be a father figure and like give me advice. And he was like, listen, I'm just telling you with the modest clothes, men need to see a little skin in order for them to be attracted. And when he first said that to me a while back, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then then recently I looked at him and I was like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a woman and men will want me, period.
Yeah.
That's just how that works.
Yeah.
I can be wearing a burqa and they would still want me.
Yeah.
That's just how that works. It's
I'm
an
yeah.
energy thing,
Totally.
And so what's been interesting is ever since it will be 2 weeks tomorrow that I've been dressing modestly. And I have noticed a shift in how I've been received
Mhm.
in term from male and female energy, where it's like there's a lot more respect and just the way that people treat me is like I get so many more compliments on my outfits.
Yeah.
It's an energy shift.
Absolutely. And when I talk about the body and the tension in the body, right? And where it's held and everything, there's always a physical reality that is mirrored in that, right? So your clothes mirror how you feel on the inside and vice versa. And you can change both or one or the other to help change one or the other, right? So
Yeah.
you deciding to change your wardrobe and being consistent in it helps shift over time. And you can say, and then you start getting into personal style, which is really fun, and really understanding personal style.
Mm-hmm.
Because that starts unlocking your feminine. That starts unlocking a lot of like, I I'm allowed to be seen. That's like solar plexus energy.
Ooh, that's such a powerful thing for women to hear.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to be seen, and I like to look at it because I'm married. I like to look at it for the female gaze, right? Like I'm showing other women how they can show up. I'm putting an energy out there that's saying like you can play in any part of this and it's okay. Like you're safe. It's okay. Like we can show up and look good, or we can show up and sometimes I look rough, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, but like I'm also okay with us just existing, and being able to hold space for each other. And I think that's the biggest part is getting to center a lot of my energy towards women,
Mm-hmm.
because then the conversation is like, it doesn't matter what male attraction, right? I don't care. I don't care what male is
They're going to
attracted.
be attracted regardless.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you do.
And I want the women to come together. I want women to like finally feel safe with each other and not feel it, because my world was always we compete, we compete, we compete. I'm so tired of competing with women. I'm so tired. And so getting to cultivate a space and practice it. That's part of it. It's not just saying I'm here for the women. It's practicing that and
Yeah.
consistently being like, what barriers are there that I'm still holding on to? And being able to lay those down and say, I'm still here and I'm going to keep being here. And consistency wins overall, and people will just start gravitating towards that energy when you're
Mm-hmm.
consistent.
It's an energy, I think, that
Absolutely.
people pick up on. This is somewhat related. I was listening to this girl on TikTok. I love TikTok. I do. I do. I learned so much. I learned so much. This girl was talking about how this now you get to see what I listen to.
Yeah.
This is
What's
my
your algorithm?
algorithm. This is how to appear wealthy and elite in any environment that you go
Yes,
into. And
girl.
so I want to look like I ooze wealth.
Okay.
Now, my
What did they
car
say?
has character, but you know what? That doesn't matter because it's a liability, not just. These are my thoughts.
That's awesome.
Um, the real wealthy people know your car isn't the thing that needs to be the flashiest, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the wealthiest people, low key, are the ones driving around in a battered up old car. That's what I tell myself.
That's what you do.
That's what
Yeah.
I tell myself.
What is it then? What is it? Because
You're gonna love this.
yeah, let's
It's
hear
so
it.
up your alley. So, how you appear wealthy and comfortable in these like very elite spaces is the energy that comes with a quiet confidence, where you're at ease in your body and you can go into any room, even especially new rooms that you've never been in and you don't know people, and to be just comfortable in your body. Do
Absolutely.
you know how freaking hard that
No,
is?
I know. I practice it daily.
Same.
I'll get in the
Same.
rooms and I'll be like, Carolyn, like,
Yeah.
you got this, and it's not like, it's not about, at one point, it's about acting, right? Okay, act like you own this room, right?
Right.
But then eventually your nervous system says, I'm safe no matter where I go.
Yes. Yeah, there's so many things to work on at the same time because it's like how you dress is part of that, energetically the clothes that you choose, why you have these pieces, what they say about you, you know. But then it's also like learning what are certain body movements to do when you go into a room, right? Like keeping your head up, right? Eye contact, just kind of being at ease, not having closed off arms, like
Yeah,
certain things that feel like acting in the beginning might feel really weird to you if that's what you're used to doing. But
that goes back to trauma and like
oh man,
self-limiting beliefs, because if you notice like something like a life lesson or a limiting belief happening within you in physical reality, sometimes a part of your body will start to hurt or itch, or you'll start rubbing it. Like people will self-soothe a lot of the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
If you're nervous, you clam up, right? There's been a couple times where I'm like rigid in my belief or something, and my knee will start to hurt, and I'm like, oh, I'm not being
Mm,
flexible enough with this, and
so interesting.
yeah, or I'll trip all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and people are always like, I broke my toe from tripping. You can't tell me it's energetic, and I'm like, well, whatever you were talking about at that time. But I don't normally say that. I just kind of like keep it to myself.
I
But
literally just tripped twice the other day. So I'm like, and it's I don't remember exactly what I was thinking about, but I was stressing. I remember that. Like I
yeah.
remember I was doing one of those things where you're playing in your head
Oh
like
yeah.
about a situation, and I was like, well, and next thing you know, I tripped.
And that's basically like the universe, God, whatever, is saying like,
Calm down.
stop. Like, think of something else. Here, be present again.
Yeah.
Let me trip you to be present again almost.
Life is fast, but every now and then you deserve a pause, a moment that's just for you.
At Le Café, we believe that each cup of coffee should taste like a little bit of luxury. Handcrafted and locally roasted here in St. Louis, each of our single origin beans are carefully selected to give you the most unique and smoothest experience. Whether you like a light, medium, or dark roast, we got you. For those busy mornings, or for my coffee lovers who prefer efficiency, we also have K-Cups. So go ahead and pour yourself a cup that tastes like self-care. Visit www.lecafe.us to bring the cafe experience home. Le Café, you deserve it.
You know what I really would love to dive into, because this has been kind of an obsession for me recently?
Okay.
Emotional regulation.
Oh my.
But not only with negative emotions, because I think we focus so much on like, don't be too anxious, don't be too angry, don't be too frustrated, don't be too whatever, right? But I think it's also sometimes don't be too excited,
Yeah.
don't be too joyful, just be chill.
Yeah.
Keeping that regulation, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as a business owner, like sometimes things happen, you're like, it's fucking happening. My life is coming together. Like, I'm so excited. I got this deal. I got this deal. Then you start telling everyone about everything because you're like, finally, I'm a winner, right? And then what usually happens? Something falls apart.
Right.
And you're just like, okay, I'm going to just chill out a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, that's your ego. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like that's I've had a few ego hits in my life. Like, I
Mhm.
could tell you where I'm like, I'm on top of the world, and then I'm like, yeah, I was telling everyone, and my ego didn't like that, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's really an interesting energy because it's what you can hold long term, right? My husband is this like steady state, and I've just constantly been like the crazy that runs around him, and being able to be in that steady state energy and constantly seeing how he handles his but like how he interacts with his friends and how he interacts with his family and how he interacts with just like strangers and stuff, to be able to see, he has such a beautiful mind, to be able to see, and he does not like that I'm talking, I mean, he doesn't care, but he's also like, please, like, don't. He's very humble.
Yeah.
To get to consistently be in that energy, and then to be able to say like, how can I put that in my own nervous system? How can I like relate to that? How can I, exude that as well, has been challenging for me because it's this stable energy that I didn't have. And it goes
Yeah.
down to your root chakra. It goes down to how you grew up, because I like the Kabbalah, right? I think of people as these little nervous systems in the wombs that are being imprinted by the other nervous systems around, specifically your mother's to start, because she's the nervous system that you're literally feeling.
I think I heard even the grandmother's DNA and genetic is
Right.
part of that too. So you're
Yeah.
getting like 3 generations
Right.
of
But
imprints.
your fetus, you as whatever, are feeling these constrictions when she's angry, right? And,
Mm.
and having my own children, I'm like, wow, they got to feel some things, right? But like to be able to then say, like, how can I be this consistent, steady nervous system for even my children to like when they have a bad day at school or something, to be able to just hold them and hold that space for them and say, it's okay. This too shall pass,
As a
right?
mother, that's what you want
Yeah.
because that's what you
Yeah.
wanted as a child. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So these like ego bursts of like, this is so amazing, this is so great, or even just like emotional regulation, right? Like
Hmm.
if we talk about grief, grief is like very much like held in the heart. And
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
yeah, and you can feel your whole system when you're about to cry come up, 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 up. It comes right up to the throat. And then some people go, I'm not gonna feel that, and they shove it back down again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah. Or you go, ooh, that's a volcano that needs to burst and I need to
Yeah,
get it out because then I get to release it. Then
right.
it's getting
Have
released.
you heard of the 3-2-1 method?
No.
I looked it up on ChatGPT the other day
Okay.
because, as I was telling you, I lost my father a little over 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It was 2 months last week exactly. So it's been 2 months and a week.
I'm I'm so impressed with how strong you are. Like
I'm a
seriously.
very strong person, but not because of the stuff I've been through. Imagine how strong I would have been if I didn't go through all the stuff that I went through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I heard that recently and I was like, yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
I'm not strong because of the things I've been through. I'm strong, period. Just think how much stronger I would have been if I didn't have all these things that I've been through. But it's okay. It makes me not vanilla, you know?
A little spicy.
Yeah, for real. Guys, I've met people who really haven't had a lot of challenges in their life. And
A little one note.
kind of, yeah. It's like it's those hits that really give you depth,
Yeah.
you know, if handled properly.
Right.
But with my dad, I work as a barista and I work in the Hill and there was this really it's adorable little coffee shop and these elderly gentlemen come in all the time. And my dad was 79 when he passed. So he had dementia and he was like very sweet and like there's almost something full circle about seeing people age. At the end of their life, you really just see, even though they're old, if you really take a moment energetically to be with them, they're so pure and they're so sweet. And it's
Especially
heartbreaking,
someone with dementia
especially someone with dementia.
because yeah, there's just so much energetically there that is yeah, they're someone that you almost are like, wow, they're at their end of their life, right? And their
Hmm.
space is a little more blank, like a baby's or and they're
Yeah,
just there. They're just
their
there.
essence.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. I had someone say to me that I'm getting the opportunity to see my father before all the walls were built up.
Yeah.
Because
And
especially men
it's
build up a
also
lot.
really, really hard, I'm sure, because
Yeah.
there's been a few instances in my life and not a parent figure. But dementia can be hard because of they're constantly asking the similar questions or you don't understand them or they don't understand you and a lot of people, I used to do home health. We had a lot of like high level, very smart, intelligent people have dementia. Now they're
Mhm.
can't remember anything. And a lot of people, loved ones were like, this person's just not the same and they've lost their life. They've lost their essence per se. And that's a hard way to look at it. And I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine.
Well, it wasn't easy, but I will say this is why I feel like I'm literally one of God's favorites. I think I am God's favorite. This is why people would be like, well, you lost your dad at 29 and he had dementia and was diagnosed when you were 23. Like, what about that is like God's favorite to
Yeah.
you? And I'm like, first of all, my dad never forgot me, which is huge.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
I was there for the last 2 hours of his life, which was one of my greatest honors. And I had to hold his hand. And he also passed in the same hospital that I was born in, which is kind of a crazy full circle moment. But in addition to that, my dad was so sweet, which isn't always the case with dementia patients. He had the disposition of a very sweet 6 year old. And my dad was one of these people who just loved life and loved people and loved making people feel good. And we have these like islands in our neighborhood. He would just walk around with his little walker. He was the gem of the neighborhood.
Oh
And he would
my
just be like, how you
gosh.
doing? Everyone thought that he knew them. He didn't know shit. He
Right.
had dementia, but he
Oh,
just saw people and was
yeah.
just like, how are
Oh,
you? And I don't know, my dad always just had this GPS in his mind. So he literally had this route. He would walk probably like a good 6 miles every day. There were certain people's houses he would stop at just to say hi and check in on them.
that
And
is so cool.
he had like the most beautiful heart. And it was just so cool to like see that come out in its essence, like for real, you know? Um,
I'm like thinking to myself, you must have high standards for men because your dad sounds like a gem.
he was a gem. He loved my mom so much.
Hmm.
He loved me so much. It really does set quite the standard for
Yeah.
men.
Do you ever feel like you get like, I know this is way off topic or whatever,
It's
but
okay.
do you ever feel like you get like reminders of him or anything like energetically
Yeah.
around your dad?
Yeah. So a lot of these older men, full story back to the coffee shop,
Yeah.
who've come in remind me of my dad a lot. And so like I'm very sweet to them and I go kind of above and beyond for them because it feels like my dad again.
Yeah.
I think I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for old white men.
Yeah. Do you ever see something like out of the corner of your eye or something that you like randomly like focused on all of a sudden that like reminds you of your dad or anything? Because like I could see that from you. Like I could see that happening and I'm like, oh, look
Spiritually,
out for it. Look
no,
out for it.
for sure. But like to the point, I want to finish this point and then I'll get to that point
Yeah.
because otherwise I'll totally forget. But the 3-2-1 method, there was this man who came in and I can't explain it, but it was something about his mannerisms that like just really, really reminded me of my dad. And I was like getting really emotional. And then like
Aw.
it's just me working at the coffee shop. So I do the POS system and I make the coffee. It's a lot. And then I went to the espresso machine and I was like making it. And then I could feel tears starting to come out of my eyes. And I'm like, not the time,
I love that.
not the time.
Right.
Right? Because like I'm a big believer in feeling your feels. Grief comes in waves,
No, I
but there's a time and a place to just break down crying. And there's a time to be like, I don't need to project what I'm feeling onto others right now.
he just wants a coffee.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a sweet old man. He's at the end of his days. He just needs a coffee. My trauma does not need to be on him right now. I'm like, we could compartmentalize and make some time that we're going to schedule to cry later. So there's this 3-2-1 method that I looked up on ChatGPT because I was like behind the bar. I'm like, oh, I'm crying at work. I need help. and Gigi answers right away. And she basically said that you look for 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can see, and then 1 thing that you can feel. Just a way to ground yourself in that moment.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I did have a dream about my dad last week, which was awesome. I was like, it took you long enough. God, you've been dead for 2 months. It took you long enough.
I need dreams.
It was wild. He was still in his dementia state, though, in the dream, which was interesting. So basically, moving on to talking about my gate.
Wait, I have one thing I wanted
Yeah.
to say on that. I had one thing on I had this crazy experience where since I've been like going through everything, my grandmother passed
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
recently everything that I've been doing to like elevate has been because of how deeply I've been rooting. And
Mm,
all of this
yeah.
deep rooting has brought up trauma, right? Just like massive amounts of trauma. And
Yeah.
it has been really hard to like, it feels like some days I just want to, like, the ship is just out to sea and it's gone. And I'm like, it's full of
Yeah.
emotion, right? It's been so much better because I've been like, "Oh, I know what that is. That's trauma coming up, and a somatic memory comes out of my body. That's the fascia releasing and everything." So, I was rollerblading at Creve Coeur Lake Park. I love
Cool.
rollerblading.
Oh my God, wait, I would so do that with
I
you.
love it.
I'll do it with you.
I am like the girl with the headphones with my dog, and
That's
I'm
so
like,
80s.
"Oh, I love it." That is the
That's
vibe.
so
That
cool.
is a, like, bad boss bitch vibe.
Yeah.
So my dog, like, doesn't bark at a lot of people. At the time, she didn't. She kinda does now. But this, like, 2 people came up to me, and people had been passing here and there, and one of them wanted to pet my dog, and she let one of them, which is not normally she lets no one or she lets everyone.
Okay.
One of them was allowed to pet her. The other one, she just kept barking at. And it wasn't like angry growl barking, but it was just like a bark, 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 bark. And I look up at this lady, looks exactly like my grandma. Looks exactly like my grandma. And I just bust out into
Yeah,
tears.
literally.
I just broke down in tears because, like, they just wanted to pet my dog. Like, I didn't need to
Yeah,
converse
yeah,
with them or
yeah.
whatever. But that my dog, like, recognized the spirit of this person, or I don't
Mm,
know. It like the whole thing was crazy to me.
yeah.
And in a way, that's weird because that wasn't, I'm like, oh, that was interesting. I like tag those of like my dog didn't know my grandmother. And also
Oh,
I was carelessly. Like I was rolling around the parking lot at that point, dancing while rollerblading to my favorite song and living life. Like I felt unstoppable in that moment.
Mm.
And this lady comes by, dog barks, like would not stop barking, look up, start crying. And it was like, my grandma is okay with it. Like she sees me, that's like the thing I got in my brain was like, she's so happy for me. She approves or, and I've not had anything like that. And I'm named after her. And so she was like my person.
Yeah,
She's someone that I felt like protected me a lot in my life.
I feel that about my father.
Yeah.
But I feel there's been a lot of movement in my life since his passing, and I feel like he's protecting me even more. Like, they say like your father would kill for you. Like people say that legit. Like it's scary. Like my father was one of these like really sweet, gentle, wouldn't hurt a fly kind of men. But when it came to me, his blood would boil if anyone would dare touch me in
Mhm.
any way. So now I don't feel like I've lost that. I feel like I'm very spiritual. I'm a God girl. I feel like it's just 10x'd, where he's got more resources up there than
Heck
he's ever
yes.
gotten before. So I don't feel the need to do revenge or to do anything like that. I'm like, my dad's up there.
Yeah.
I joke and I say my father's in heaven. I've got God and my dad. You better watch. Oh, I am protected. I don't need to do nothing
Yeah.
because karma, God, or my dad is coming for you. So just be a good person to me. Because, you know,
Yeah, that's awesome and
yeah,
powerful for sure.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing about your dad.
Thanks for listening.
I know.
I love talking about him.
I was like, we can talk about Gate now if you want, but
Oh, yeah. So for a second, for those of you who don't know, who haven't been a guest, I always kind of pause at some point to check on the cameras. And when I was walking, I was kind of stumbling because I'm in pain. I'm
okay.
in so much pain. Always in pain. Like I'm a very like physical person. Okay. So like I just live life and I'm like a bull in a china shop. I am hardcore in my body. I'm like, we're gonna get through this. So I like, first of all, I went from working as a graphic designer where I sit all day, which is also terrible for your body, to being a barista where I stand all day, which is
Yeah.
like complete opposite
Yeah.
of the spectrum. And then like this new coffee shop that I work at, he doesn't like when you sit down.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm in pain.
that's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're busy, I understand that
Right.
that makes
Right. Right.
sense. But it's like, it's so interesting because the last coffee shop that I worked at, it's you really don't realize this unless you're someone who's on your feet all day, but even if you can just sit for a few moments, it is so freaking healing. But wearing the right shoes is also really important. But I'm also a woman
Mhm.
and I'm really vain.
Mhm.
So I got these really cute shoes that are not supportive
Yeah.
at all.
You learned real quick, didn't you?
No, I wore them
No.
2 days in a row.
She's like, no.
2 days in a row, and now I can't walk because I'm almost 30 and my body doesn't let me just do whatever I want
Yeah.
anymore.
Maybe your body's telling you that you don't need to be standing for 2 days in uncomfortable shoes.
Yeah.
That's the energy of that right there. Like,
I know. So now I'm just in a little bit of pain. I have a foot massager that helped a lot. I probably need to do it more. Got some icy freeze.
yeah.
Yeah.
I yeah.
Yeah.
Icy freeze. A little self massage, get a
Yes.
little oil or lotion.
Yep.
Just like even if you're sitting there watching TV or watching Netflix on your phone or whatever you're
You
doing.
know what I love? A good tennis ball roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
But like do it mindlessly almost. Like sometimes I'll do it and sometimes more mindless and not mindful it is, your hands just start going to the places that need it the most.
I like that.
So you just and
The
to
body
the
knows.
yeah, and like it's just the softness and like
Yeah.
it and very much as a practitioner, I am trying to get people to get into their own bodies a little bit more. So you could have someone help you, right? You can go out and outsource that. That's also helpful because everyone at challenging times needs someone else. You need
You just
nervous
want to
system.
be,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
just
That's
pamper me, take care of me. I
absolutely.
used to go to the chiropractor, just got a little above my price point at a certain
Yeah.
point. But oh, that was the best. But shout out to you, Dr. Nick Patullo at St. Louis Sports Clinic.
I know him.
Do you?
I've met him before, yeah.
Yeah, he's
I don't
great.
know him, but I've met him before, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're great over
Um,
there.
sometimes you have to like I'm gonna say touch yourself, but like
No, it's
you
true.
do. You
Can
have
I
to
ask
get
you your
comfortable.
professional opinion?
Go.
Okay, I want to ask about like certain parts of my body where I felt pain and like
Mhm.
why that is.
Go for it.
Okay, I got a massage once and they started massaging like right up here by my
Mhm.
scalp, like
Mhm.
right by my scalp and the base of my
Suboccipitals.
neck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whoo!
Mhm.
Felt amazing.
Mhm.
I didn't know I had any stress or pain over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
is that?
Yes. Great. I call that like the third eye muscles because
Okay.
your third eye is like right in the inside of your head, right? It's your pineal
Oh,
gland.
it's not just right
Um
here.
no, 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 no. Your pineal gland is actually like right in the inside of your brain.
Oh, interesting.
And I mean, beyond that, that's like the energy of it, and I can talk on that, but those are called your suboccipitals. And what happens is a lot of us, everyone, has a forward head posture,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
those immediately shorten when you do this.
Oh.
It's also like you're turning off your ear canal. You don't want to listen, you don't want to hear. That's another one. Because that's like shortening all the eustachian tubes and everything. This is my own personal, professional opinion, but a lot of that is fascial tension and a lot of restriction deep into here and under here. That's also the top of this huge fascial line that goes all the way to the bottom of your feet.
Yeah.
And when you're afraid, think of like a loud boom that goes outside
I'm
that you're
afraid all the
unaware of.
time.
Right.
So, yeah,
What does your body do when you're
I
afraid?
I freeze.
Okay, but what do you go? What would you do? Just instinctively.
If someone does that,
Yeah,
I
scares you.
freeze.
You don't have any
I
tension like
probably
this.
tense and
Yeah.
freeze.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what's the tension look like?
I don't
Yeah, right.
know. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
You protect the neck, right? You protect the
Interesting.
soft parts of
Yeah, you
you.
kind of curl a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this gets like this is fear. What I would say because if you're here, if you're a tech neck, you're constantly in
Mm.
this fear nervous system like positioning or posture, right?
Yeah.
We all are at some point, and there's just a lot. Everyone has a lot in their suboccipitals, but it's very much tech neck kind of feeling, but then also a fear based that you don't even know. And that's the great part is when you got it worked on, you became conscious of
Hmm.
what your body's holding on to. So
That
you
was so
didn't
cool.
know.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah. And you could have different issues because of it. I mean 100 different issues, right?
Right.
Um and you may not even understand why your shoulders hurt or something. It could be because of this, right? They
Because
work.
it's all connected. I
Yeah.
learned that in yoga.
It is all
That
connected.
was so interesting
Yeah.
to me, where it's like yoga with Adrienne is great. And she like went through how like if you're having, let's say, like neck pain, it could be because of something in your lower back. And so it's just kind of,
Yeah.
I thought that that was so fascinating to me. Also, like I always feel pain in my shoulder blades, like that area right there.
Yeah, a lot of people do. And again, that's like the shoulders go up. This is also like your throat chakra
Yeah.
energy. So that's like not self-expression. Like again, trauma around not feeling heard, not, feeling like you can talk.
Can we talk for a moment about the word trauma?
Yes.
Because I'm so sensitive to words.
It is. Yeah, it's a hard word for a lot of people.
Yeah, and the thing, oof, okay. We're good. So many thoughts. I can't even talk.
Trauma.
I'm like, okay, I know there's real trauma in the world, okay? It's not just rose-colored, glasses and
Hmm.
unicorns and fairies and everything. Like there is real terrible trauma that happens to people. There is also simply just challenges.
No. Well, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and everyone has trauma. Everybody has trauma.
But like Do they?
We're not talking about one huge event and it's like top of the tier. We're talking about assault trauma or something like that.
Right.
But death by a thousand paper cuts, if you're constantly being told like you're not good enough or somebody's judging you or, you're being neglected little by little or something like that, or you're neglecting yourself, that is little t trauma. I call that little t trauma.
I guess maybe now this probably isn't politically correct by any means, but I guess my issue with the word trauma is based on my observations, based on the people who I have known to use the word trauma a lot.
Mhm.
I tend to feel like those are the people who spend so much time talking about the trauma that they've been through, and I don't see a lot of healing and progress. And it's like, especially sometimes when people talk about their trauma, and I'm like, I hear trauma, I'm like, whoa, like, what happened to you? And then I hear and I think back on some of the things that happened to me, and I'm like, mm, okay, I'm sorry your mother didn't love you the way you needed. I lost my father, but oh yeah, we've all been through trauma, sure. Um,
But they only know that experience, right? You only know your
yeah,
experience, and that's like a hardship or a challenge. Yes,
but
but
that's
to
what I'm
them,
saying.
that's trauma.
But like,
That's something that's keeping them from
but
their
I
true
guess that's
self.
why I feel like words are so powerful. I'm not taking away from the experience. I think it's just that, like, imagine if we viewed it instead of calling it trauma, which almost sounds the word itself so triggering that it makes it feel like you can't get past it. Whereas if I hear the word challenge, I'm like, okay, it's not easy street, but we can overcome and challenge. Whereas trauma just sounds so
I get what you're saying. And I I probably would have never used the word up until last year because
okay.
of I didn't know what I had gone through, and, that's a whole 'nother story that I'm gonna just leave off. But there's been trauma in my life, and even saying that, I'm like, "Oh, I don't need to say that," but I do believe that, like, I did not think it. I thought my life was easy street, and then my body started unlocking because I started using my breath and I started having these somatic memories come up. And then I went and asked my parents about it, and they won't tell me anything about it. And they won't deny it, but they won't say what it was. And I'm trying to get medical records. And these somatic memories aren't just like one thing, like they're a whole frigging story of things that I blacked out on. Like, my eating disorder was the
Mm,
thing that hid all of this from me.
wow.
And there's I have a long, crazy story, but, like, I never thought that I had trauma in my life, and even talking about the things that I was conscious of, which is, like, how my how someone treated me, I really don't wanna put people on blast because I don't blame anybody for what happened, rather than I'm trying to be able to say, like, you put a lot of shit on me, and, like, you probably had a I know that my family had a lot before, like, in their childhood, and I think that we are broken sometimes, and some people just don't wanna be helped. People don't wanna look in the mirror for themselves, so I'm trying not to, like, blame because that's not what this is about. It's me being like, I don't prefer that anymore, and these are the things that I'm gonna do past this, and so for me and my trauma, I found it in my body. I didn't know it was there, and when I
Yeah,
started unlocking my body and starting to work with my body and unraveling it,
that's fascinating.
things were coming out, and it was almost like I would work on a certain part of me, like my abdomen or something, and, like, this rush of memories, but then also this overwhelming feeling of how shitty I felt about myself would just come back, and it was like,
Wow.
"Oh, dang," like
I had a similar experience. I told you about this, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Say it.
Okay. Well, I didn't feel shitty about myself. I okay, it's weird because I can't remember the memories that came back.
Yeah,
It was just that
that's a somatic memory. You had it in stored there because this
correct.
couldn't handle it.
Or I had healed it here already, but the
Sure.
body sometimes still hold on to things, especially if it was like at a young age or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So like when I started going to the chiropractor, one of the things that he would do during our session was dry needling.
Mhm.
And for some reason, and this is why I hate dry needling, I'm like, just you keep your somatic experiences to yourself. I don't need no trauma. Yes, you
No, I
do.
don't, because the minute you start calling it that and move through it, then it doesn't affect you
Well,
anymore.
I will tell you. Let me see two things. So the first thing is that the first 6 months that I got dry needling, I would have these vivid dreams, never the same one, mind you. It was like that night I had these like crazy vivid dreams. And my grandmother was alive at the time. She's a social worker. And I was like, do I need therapy? And she said, do you feel like you need therapy? She's such a therapist.
Yeah, right, right.
And I was like, no, I really don't feel like I need therapy. I'm just like confused why these memories are coming back. She's like, well, how do you feel about them? And I said, I don't feel like they're issues. Like they're not something that is part of me. It's not something I'm worried about. It's something that I didn't even realize was an issue or a problem. I'm being very vague right now because I quite literally don't remember them. But I at the time I just remember it's not like some crazy like anyone did anything inappropriate. It was just,
Things that needed to be released.
yeah. And she was like, it's the last thing in your body
Yeah.
that was releasing them.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of like the final goodbye. And I'm like, that's beautiful. And then after 6 months, I didn't have those dreams anymore.
Yeah.
So I think whatever was held up was released. Now,
Because it was caught in the body.
that was like childhood though. Now, as someone who's almost 30, I could tell you that my 20s have been something else. You know what I mean? Like childhood might be healed, but 20s is a whole new era that needs some healing. Like doing the ice plunges, like with breath and exposure.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Josh, Luna, Cody, and Caitlin.
Yeah.
I have never met Caitlin actually.
haven't
Wait,
either.
no, I did. I did.
I haven't.
But yeah.
Yeah, there's so much on that and somatic memories. And that's kind of why I shifted into this other space, which wasn't just physical, because I was like, whoa, the body is holding on to something so much more. And
Yeah.
I had to go within myself and kind of like hermit down to really understand everything. And then when I asked for like someone to, hey, like what is this about? And they wouldn't give me any answers. And that was really challenging and still challenging. There will be some days that I'm like, I just want to call my mom and just like force the answer out of her. And my husband's like, you won't get the answer, the real answer. You won't get the answer that you like are looking for, because it's only going to be from her perspective or from their perspective or whatever. And yeah, it's just a quite interesting thing, because it's like you're tossed back into the past a little bit, but then it's like, okay, no, I'm moving in such a crazy, awesome direction.
Yes.
I'm just so much happier as a person. I'm like, there's so many things that I'm so grateful for, that those memories coming up, and it is literally like you are trying to just watch them, and you're just like, okay, that's not me anymore, or I don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that. Thank you for showing me.
Yes.
I'm releasing this. I understand
Yes.
why I have been feeling so terrible about myself for so
Yeah.
I don't have to feel that way anymore. Yay!
And I love that. And that's so healthy. And so for me, that's why whether it's politically correct, in the mental health and wellness space, like maybe if this is what people are probably not calling it, but I think that's where my perspective is. That's me taking ownership of what happened to me, because we don't control what happens to us to a certain extent,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But it's like, who are we going to become despite it, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's like, even with like, let's say, for example, my father passing, because you were like, oh, was it 6 months ago? And I was like, no, it's 2 months
2
ago.
months ago.
And you're like, how are you here? And
Yeah.
I'm like, because I made a decision that I wasn't going to let my father's death completely break me down.
Yeah, you have
If
to
I
keep
need
living.
to break down for a moment, I will. And then I will wash my face, reapply my lipstick,
And
and
keep
move
going.
on,
Yeah.
because my father would want me to be happy and to have a joyful life. And
Yeah.
I am so young and I have so much life ahead of me that I'll be damned if I let one trauma or challenging situation stop me from having the best life possible. I just won't.
Yeah,
As far as I'm concerned, we've got one life, and I'm gonna damn well have the best life I can,
absolutely. Absolutely.
you know?
I think you were talking about trauma earlier, and I think you were looking at it from the people that allow the trauma to define them
Correct.
versus like people that have said that happened to me. That's not who I am on the
Yes.
inside. And that's where these limited beliefs get stored in the body because then someone says that trauma is who I am. I'm not good enough. And this trauma confirms it. Right.
Yeah, or they don't grow.
Right.
Like I met a few people recently who are so awesome. You ever do that? You meet someone and you're like, your heart is awesome. I see your potential. My dad said you don't go for potential, but I saw their potential. I saw what they could become. And yet they're in this headspace of being so consumed by their trauma and letting their trauma identify them that they won't move on.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
That's what I was wondering from you. Like, is it ever exhausting for you that you are at a point where, like, both physically and spiritually, you can literally see what people, to a certain extent, what people are holding on to when they're living? They're not even talking to you yet, mind you. They're just,
Yeah.
is that exhausting?
Yeah. And I mean, not necessarily. Sometimes I wish I could just shut it off because I'm like, okay, I just want to like, I don't want to see that, like that doesn't, it clouds my vision sometimes because I just want to love a person, right? And
Yeah.
I don't mind if they're loving them from very afar and saying like, that's your life, go live that, whatever. But I just want to like love a person and just say like, you are, we all have trauma, challenges, whatever we're calling them, right? And we're trying to live as a human being together. And sometimes it's hard to, yeah, there's been a few people that I'm just like, I don't know if I could work with this person. I'm not sure if I'll be able to because I see how much they are living with and they're overconsumed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I hold space for, like, I'm holding the space, but they're going to be someone 2, 3 months down the road that says, uh, that person wasn't able to help me. And it's not because I didn't fucking try my hardest, because I give people my heart and my soul because I love helping people.
Yeah.
It's because you couldn't help yourself.
Right. So, first of all, you said it so much better than me, but I was trying to say that before. That's what I was trying to say. Yes. And I think it really comes down, and it's so profound, but I think it really comes down to self-love, right? Like you can only love yourself. No one else can love you for you. You can't love someone into healing themselves.
Yeah.
It's
You could create the space though. I like look at it as like an opportunity, and thankfully like I'm happily married, and so a lot of these reflections are people that are not romantic based, right? They're I want it to be women that are my reflection of how can we hold space for each other. And
yeah,
part of it is helping them get out of their own way. And so creating that space for them with boundaries, right? I'm not here for your beck and call. And if I have to be here for your beck and call, then you may be charged for that amount, right? Like my services, that's what my services are about. But like there are so many free ways to get a hold of me. And then there's paid versions of my services that anytime I can stay a good friend or like a stable place. And it's not about like, okay, I just can't hold your space for you. You have to walk away. It's rather like, I'm here for you. And that doesn't mean I have to be in with you all the time. It just means that like if you need a friend or if you need that energy that says like you're safe, you're okay, you can come and I will be there and I'll hold your hand and I'll help you and we can be together. And then you get back out there again, but I'm not doing it on a romantic sense, like I don't
yeah,
know, but like I get to do it as a friendship and like as an opportunity to say like also help me, right? Like I think there's give and take in any relationship, any interaction and any
yeah,
connection. And for me it's like keep breaking down my walls with women, right? Keep breaking down the fact that like I can hold the space and I can be safe and I can be nurturing to women, something that I never thought that I could do. And so I'm not testing, but I'm like giving this to me as much as I'm giving it to them. And I want a reciprocal, as in like, yeah, this is a safe place to go. And I feel okay here. And let's just keep having fun together. I love my girlfriends that like we go rollerblading together. My friend has a pole in her house. I've like done pole at her house, like pole
Yeah.
fitness. Like we're gonna do this sober rave in the next couple weeks, and I was like, I'm going with body paint and glitter, and I'm going to do it for me. That's what I'm going for. And people are going
Yeah.
to think I am crazy or cool or whatever. It doesn't matter. I want to go there and have a good time for me. And
Yeah.
that's what's important. And I'm also a vendor afterwards, but but
That's
the workout, I was like, I'm going to
awesome.
show up and I'm going to just live.
Is this with Sam?
Um, yeah, Sam Lee, DJ Sam
Yeah.
Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to that, and I'm just I want to keep cultivating spaces where I get to show up and have fun and be creative and be silly and be crazy and ask other women to do that too if they want to, or they can just have fun in the energy of it all as well.
That's awesome. I admire that so much. Um, and I think part of the reason why you're able to be so abundant is because you're so intentional about wanting to create that safe space and you have such clarity on what that safe space looks like. I'm being very selective
Yeah.
about who I'm choosing.
I look at it like a pyramid or an orbit, one of the two. And so
Yeah.
at the top of the pyramid, my energy, right?
Yeah.
And then like as I go down, it's my husband and my two children. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
have the most of my orbiting, right? Like I'm going to orbit their life the most.
Yeah.
I'm orbiting my life all the time, right? That's me. But who gets to be a part of my energy? My husband, my children. That's who gets most of me.
Right.
From there, who are the friendships that I want to cultivate? And so I'm still growing those. I'm
For
still
sure.
absolutely growing those.
For
And
sure.
one of my friends, her and I have this beautiful understanding that like we're like we love each other, but we also love to like have our own space. And so
Mm-hmm.
we don't meet up all that much, right? And
Yep.
sometimes we do. And so she orbits a little bit further away from me, right? And then like if I don't enjoy I'm not a welcome party for everybody. Like that's not that those are boundaries that I have. If you're not someone that I think that we would jive along with, or you're in it for the wrong reasons, or you're bye, see you later. And I've learned that over time. I've learned that specifically over the last couple of years, of like who I want in my life. But I very much look at that as like orbits, and it's like you can orbit a little closer today. You have to stay really far away. And like, I don't even want you orbiting. Like, you're not even a part of this pyramid here. And so
Totally.
you get to choose those, and you're so in control of those. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like sometimes you also have to figure out what the intention of the other person is a little
For
bit.
sure.
I get so nervous and I want approval so bad. Like, not so much anymore because I'm walking in my own timeline, my light, my path, right?
Love that. Yeah.
But for so long, it was such a hard burden to carry that it was like, I just want someone to love me and approve of me and care for me. And like, I want to show you everything I'm worth. And it came from that I did not think I was worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're talking to me and having a conversation, I just want to tell you all the everything that I'm worth. So you think I'm worthy.
Mm.
And there was a big shift that happened that it was like, oh, I don't have to beg for my worthiness. I don't have to beg for anybody else's approval of me. And what I'm lacking is from myself. And there's a lot of trauma, somatic memories that came out from all of that. But yeah,
That's really powerful.
yeah,
It's very true. Like I think it goes back to that whole emotional regulation thing, right? Or like the most confident person is the one who's most at home in their body. And it's like, if you want to get to know me. Things will, I don't feel the need to share everything that's going on. If it's meant to come out, the magic of the mic, it will come out.
yeah,
If not, we'll see each other again. Like having that faith that if it's meant to be, this will continue, but I don't need to like purge. That's something that I think we all can learn a lot from. So, curious question
yeah.
10 years from now, with your practice, if it could be in the most like ideal abundance mindset, everything goes according to how you'd love for it to grow, what would it look like?
Gosh,
It's a fun
I'm like
question.
so excited about this. There's like this like I don't know, for I immediately thought of this lady that I know, and she like does like she's more into her like sacral energy. She's almost like modern tantra, which is like sexual energy that like moves the world, right? Your
Yeah.
creative feminine energy. And she just speaks to women and she exudes this like sexy confidence, and she's not concerned with like anything other than just helping women and being like a light for everyone else to be like, I could be like that. I could dance out in the middle of the street and not worry about it, right? That's where I want it to build into a whole like resource behind it, right? Resources. Because right now I'm at the beginning of the resources. I have a digital product of a course that we did, and we've got more coming out on like understanding your core. And then
Sick.
yeah, there's just like a lot that we're excited to do with tapping into your body really specifically for women. And so I think like starting there where I get to tap into women's and help them tap into their own bodies to exude more confidence, to really just be grounded in who they are, and then like play with it, right? Have fun with it. Get creative, get fun, get excited about all of it, and just show by living my biggest truth and my like most open, abundant self. I get to invite other women to do that as well. And they get to circulate in that energy. Um, and that's what I want to create.
Yeah. Oh, there's this beautiful poem where I don't know the whole poem by heart, but I'll send it to you later. But basically, it talks about exactly what you're saying about how when we give ourselves permission to step into our light, we give others permission as well. So leading by example. And you're doing it. You're already doing it. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
step by step. I think we are
Yeah.
all doing it in our own right.
Yeah.
It's just like step by step.
And I think the beautiful thing about being a woman too is like I have no problem sharing the ins and outs of how I do anything that I've done because first of all, abundant mindset. There's no reason why all of us can't be successful together.
Yes,
But in addition to that, I didn't get here overnight. And I know that they're not going to get there overnight. It is practice and it is work. And you have to really, really want it and love it, whatever that is, whether it's coffee or podcasting or, the somatic trauma healing and PT, like all that takes a lot of work and, inner work as well.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the most that like I was talking to my good friend Ashley, who we're doing she's my business partner, and I was talking about a doorway and like that doorway that has no scaffolding, no staircase to it. It's up, maybe 10 stories or something. And you're looking at it and you're like, those are your life goals, right? That's where you want to be in 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. And each day we lay a scaffolding. We lay like one step to get there, right? And all of
That's
those.
beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, just keep, because I want to go up there and I just want to be like, I'm up here. Like, but then I keep falling down because
Yeah.
there's no support. And every
Yeah.
day, consistency. I hate that word sometimes, but I'm learning to love it because the routine of making sourdough and ginger bugs and like doing just consistent in my routines is making me a better person, a better wife, a better mother, a better friend, and it's helping me get back to who I want to be. And so I'm building that staircase like step by step.
It's beautiful. It's a
Yeah,
really good analogy. Like really good. We've covered so
I know we
much.
have this is like 4 podcasts.
It's so great. I literally could talk to you like forever.
I know.
So, is there anything that like we didn't touch on today that you still would want to share with the audience?
Um, Other than really understanding that to me, it has started with my breath. My whole transformation
Yeah,
really started truthfully, like it's just the thing that gets underpassed because we start talking about trauma and these big words, but the presence and the routine has been within the breath. I every day go back to my breath. And it's not just like meditation. Like I am okay, I'm feeling this space right here and I'm getting a little cramp right here. And so I kind of
Yeah.
put my finger here and I just go, and I breathe into it because I know what to do with that, right?
It's
So,
so healing.
and yeah, and so understanding how much the breath can heal, because what you're doing is you're keep laying the framing and the framework for how to understand your body. Just
Yeah.
keep getting into your body because that's how you get out.
Especially because so many of us hold our breath
Hmm.
when we're in a stress response.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like breath work isn't like something you go and do, it's something you cultivate every day.
Mm, I love that. That's awesome. I have this tradition.
Yes.
At the end of every podcast, this whole podcast is based on this Hebrew quote, which is "Eze Chacham Halamim Mikol Adam," which means one who is wise is one who learns from everyone. We've learned so much from you.
Yeah,
I
I've
feel
learned
like
so much from
we
you.
scratched the surface, but I know there's so much more. So if you could leave us with like one last life lesson or favorite quote, what would it be?
Uh, Something that has been within my territory lately of just like what I keep circling in, and I think it's the most authentic to me at this point in time, is like every iteration of me, even since I was born, like I've always wanted to escape from me.
Mm,
And even now, when I think about my most abundant timeline, I'm the person putting in the work and I'm the main character energy, right? And part of this growing outside and growing your edges like a big tree, right? You have to put down those roots and those grow just as big. So like for me, it's just rooting down into who I am and the identity I prefer to be able to grow even bigger than I ever thought was possible. So keep rooting down into you in whatever iteration you're in.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Look at you. Okay.
Thank you for having me on today. This has been
Yeah.
really great.
What can my audience do to support you?
You can check me out on Instagram at dr.carolyn.meister or check out our website, www.expansion-therapy.com.
Mm-hmm.
We have a course on breath, which is really awesome. And we're about to get one out on core, how to understand the anatomy and access the deep, deep core, because
Yeah.
that will start unlocking a lot of things. Other than that, you can come to a one-on-one session with me here in St. Louis.
And then can we also talk about your podcast? Is
Oh
that
my gosh, yeah. We are not like doing it all the time right now because of all the other offerings we're having,
yeah.
but it's called Bold Vitality. And it is where we talk about somatic stuff like somatic trauma and then more energetics as well. Like that's where we get a little woo woo.
Are you on all the streaming platforms?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna put all of that in the bio so that people can find you.
Okay.
This has been so great.
It has. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. Did we just meet 2 days ago?
Yeah, we did.
LOL.
That's
That
real.
checks out.
Yeah.
That checks out. That happens to me a lot.
That sounds like our
Yeah,
personalities.
kind of. It's just how I am. Like, as much as I'm like, meet people, I'm just staying in my own zone. But like when I meet people who I really like, I'm like, what up, tribe? I'm like, why
Absolutely.
not?
Also, when does your coffee shop open?
It's a great question.
Okay, you're not sure yet.
I'm
Can we
not
give
sure
like a
yet.
season?
I'm really manifesting, hoping, and praying fall 2026.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna manifest that too for you.
Thanks.
I'm gonna be like, you need that open then.
I know, I do. I really need this space. I need it
You
for,
do pop-ups, right?
I do. I
Okay.
do
When's your
pop.
next pop-up?
I'm at the farmers market January
What farmers market?
31st, the Boulevard. It's a
Okay.
Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 31st?
Yeah. And I'm the coffee sponsor for Babes in Business. So any of their coffees, I do that.
Yay.
And then Babes in Business also has a vendor event in February. I believe it's February 4th,
5th.
5th.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Well, see,
Yeah.
I'm so out of
Yeah.
it. Love wise gals or
I don't
pales, I don't know.
I think I signed up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because that same day, the RF Co is doing their coffee and community, and I'm going to be the coffee sponsor for there too.
Ooh.
Valentine's Day is a busy day for Le
Yeah,
Cafe.
I guess so.
I'm in hustle mode.
Now I need to try your coffee,
It's
honestly.
really
I said
good.
I like don't drink coffee anymore, but
You
it doesn't
drink
mean
decaf though, right?
No, I'll drink real coffee. I'm not like
Oh,
opposed to coffee. I just don't like order it.
okay.
My husband will have it every morning and I'll take a sip and I'll be like, yeah, I'm good. But like sometimes when we go travel, I'm like, I want, there's this one coffee shop. I don't remember where it is, but they had like orange, like an orange peel with maple and just like did like this espresso or something.
I forgot to tell
It was
you,
so good.
I did matcha with maple syrup the other day. Changed my freaking life. I did add some cinnamon powder.
Still though, you
It
can't
was
go wrong with pure maple
so
syrup.
organic.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I
It
did put a lot of maple syrup in, but it
I
was
know, but
so
it's so
yummy. So good.
it beats like regular sugar because it's just got like an umami
Maple.
taste. Yeah, it's just I mean, like,
It was
so
good
you're
stuff.
welcome.
Thanks. Thanks. Well, guys, this has been another great episode. Thank you so much for listening or watching. And if you're not currently watching, the video is available on Spotify and YouTube. And I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed, what are you doing with your life? Hit that subscribe button. Please share this episode with someone who you think would benefit. I hope you guys have a great week. Let's get it. Let's go.